I'm Brent Eviston. Now, if you know of me at all, you probably know me as a traditional drawing instructor. I love everything about drawing. I love creating the illusion of objects, animals, and people. I love exploring mark making to see what lines and marks can do, and I love the combination of art and science that drawing requires. But as much as I love traditional drawing, it is not the only kind of drawing I do. I also love to explore the more creative and experimental side of drawing. There is so much more to drawing than simply creating images that look like the objects they depict. Drawing can also be used for creative exploration as well as a tool for self-discovery, and that's what we're going to focus on in this video. I'm going to introduce you to the most fundamental creative tool I use, the sketchbook. I'm also going to show you how you can keep your own creative sketchbook where you'll collect all of your unique thoughts and ideas and learn just how creative you can be. Now, if you're interested in drawing at all, you've probably already seen numerous videos about sketchbooks, where every page in the sketchbook is like a work of art. While these kinds of sketchbooks can be valuable to create and fun to show off, in order to explore our creative minds, we need a very different kind of sketchbook. The sole purpose of the sketchbook that you're going to learn about here is to collect and record your own unique and creative ideas. I'm going to share the 7 guidelines I follow when I keep my creative sketchbooks. So let's get into them. 1. Record any and all creative thoughts and ideas. In your creative sketchbook, you need to record all of the creative ideas that come into your mind. A creative idea, by definition, is unique or unorthodox. Creative ideas are novel, unconventional, unexpected. I recommend recording as many ideas as you can. This gets you into the habit of paying attention to your thoughts and recording them in your sketchbook. The more unique thoughts and ideas you record, the less likely you will be to miss one. You send a signal to your mind that they are valuable. The more you record them, the more they will manifest. Number 2, keep your creative sketchbook private. Your creative sketchbook should never be seen by anyone but you. Creative ideas often break traditional norms. They challenge what we think we know. Most of us have a constant stream of thoughts and ideas running through our mind, and many of those thoughts and ideas are unconventional or unorthodox. But we train our mind to ignore these unconventional thoughts because these strange and unorthodox thoughts simply have no relevance to normal everyday life. So we tend to disregard them, but when we do this, it sends a signal to our mind that these thoughts and ideas are not valuable. This creates a cycle of ignoring them. If you're concerned about somebody seeing your sketchbook and becoming disturbed, offended, or thinking your ideas are bad, you will begin to self-censor, and that is terrible for creativity. In order to become creative, we need to feel free to explore all of our thoughts and ideas. Number 3. Capture your ideas immediately. In my experience, many unique and creative ideas are fleeting and ephemeral. They evaporate very quickly. Even ideas that seem so powerful that I'm sure I'll remember them tend to disappear very quickly. Do not wait to record your ideas. Do not assume that they will be there when it's convenient for you to record them. Now this brings us to guideline number 4. In order to record your creative thoughts and ideas immediately, you need to keep your sketchbook with you at all times. So at this point, I actually have a number of sketchbooks that I keep around. I keep a number of them at my studio, I keep one in the car, I have one that travels with me in a bag. I also keep sketchbooks of many different kinds and sizes. So whether you have one sketchbook or many, try and keep a sketchbook with you at all times to make sure you are ready to record your ideas when they arise in your mind. Number 5, your sketchbook is not just for drawings. My sketchbooks often contain more writing than drawing, and I think this makes sense for a book about ideas. Writing and drawing are such a perfect pair. They work together to describe a complete idea. My sketchbooks contain lists, plans, sketches, writing, even diagrams and collage. Just as you don't want to limit the kinds of ideas you put in your sketchbook, you also don't want to limit how you record them. Record them in whatever way makes sense. 6, it's not about good drawings. The drawings in my creative sketchbooks are rarely good drawings in any traditional sense. When I'm trying to capture a creative idea quickly, I tend to draw in a sort of visual shorthand. I draw very quickly and simplify the images whenever I can. Remember, the goal of this sketchbook is to simply capture your ideas, not to make beautiful artwork. Number 7, keep a physical paper book. Now, this is really a personal decision, but I recommend not using a digital device. I recommend keeping a physical paper sketchbook. When we are on digital devices, our minds know that they are connected to the entire internet and they can become a distraction. Being in the online world is rarely a good thing for your creative mind. It's distracting and can often feel hypnotizing. I believe that time away from the online world is one of the best ways to let your creativity flourish. Sometimes digital devices are a necessity, but for the most part, I recommend keeping a physical paper sketchbook. So, these are the guidelines that I follow and that I recommend for anyone interested in keeping a creative sketchbook. After a few weeks of tuning into your creative thoughts and ideas and recording them, you will be amazed at what you find. Later on, once you have a large collection of ideas, you can go back and evaluate them to see which ones are truly compelling and useful. Now, I often try to give my creative ideas a week or even a month or more before I evaluate them. About once a year, I tend to pull out all of my creative sketchbooks, even ones from literally decades ago. Many ideas will lose their luster, but some of your ideas will continue to sparkle in your mind. These are the ideas that warrant further exploration and may form the foundation for entire creative projects. So with all of these ideas in mind, I'm now going to show you some examples of the specific ideas that I record and how I record them. Now, of course, I am breaking my privacy rule by opening up my sketchbooks, but I've had a solid and consistent sketchbook practice for a number of decades at this point. And of course, I'm being very selective at what I'm showing you. Now, I'd like to remind you, the ideas you're going to see are not necessarily good ideas, and they are not drawn particularly well. But some of the entries you're about to see did end up evolving into creative projects. Now, many of these ideas and images don't even make sense when they arise in my mind. I often have no idea what they mean or why I find them compelling. They just seem important somehow, so they go in the book. In my experience, this is often how creative ideas manifest. Some image or phrase will simply arise in my mind and stay there. I have a strong sense that these ideas and images have some important meaning. As you know, I draw. I am no architect. But I've always found architecture fascinating, so many of the pages of these sketchbooks contain ideas for buildings. These are most often fantasy buildings that probably could never be built. Exploring architecture has pushed my mind to think in completely different ways. Exploring disciplines that are outside of what you normally do is such an incredible way to expand your creative thinking skills. If you're a painter, try designing clothing. If you're a clothing designer, try designing furniture. Now, I'm sure that most trained architects would look at these sketches and find them to be laughably bad, but it doesn't matter. I find them interesting, and it's a way for me to push my mind into different areas. For another example, I am absolutely not a furniture designer, but at some point, I became very interested in chair design. I wanted to explore how many different ways I could design a chair that was folded from a single plane. I did hundreds of these sketches, all variations on this theme. If you're interested in something, it doesn't matter whether or not it's what you normally do. Explore it in your sketchbook. Remember, you don't want to put limits on yourself as to what goes on the pages of your creative sketchbook. If you find it interesting, explore it. Now, one thing I learned by exploring architecture and furniture design in my sketchbooks is that I have a strong desire to bring my drawings into the third dimension. I've become very interested in how I can free my drawings from the flatness of the page and bring them out into the three-dimensional world. So I began exploring and collecting ideas to make drawings three-dimensional. This led me to the idea of intersecting drawings. I've also explored dioramas and even projected drawings. The pages of your sketchbook are a perfect place to explore these kinds of ideas because you can explore them through drawing before you actually attempt to build anything. And if you keep your drawing simple, you can explore many ideas very quickly. I never know which ideas are going to develop as I'm recording them, but some of the seemingly simple sketches in these books have formed the foundation for some of my most successful creative projects. Creativity is something you can practice and develop just like any other skill. Somewhere in the constant stream of thoughts traveling through your mind are the ideas that will make you and your work creative and unique. I don't want you to passively watch what I'm doing. I want you to have your own creative experiences. To that end, I want you to start your own creative sketchbook. So here is how. You need to select at least one sketchbook where you will go to record all of your unique and creative thoughts and ideas. Record your unique thoughts and ideas immediately as they arise in your mind. Keep your sketchbook with you whenever possible and keep it private. If you're worried that one of your ideas or images may be offensive to someone or disturb someone, then you will begin to self-censor. Any form of censorship, whether it comes from a government, an institution, a tech company, or even yourself, is the death knell for creativity. And your creativity lies in these unique thoughts and ideas that exist in your mind. We want to send a signal to our mind that our most unique thoughts and ideas are valuable, and the best way to do this is to record them in your creative sketchbook. Developing your creativity is a skill that you should practice and foster just like your technical drawing skills. Now, if you'd like to learn more about creativity, I recommend checking out my course, Becoming Creative. There you'll learn what creativity is, and I'll lead you through a series of projects and exercises to explore your unique creative thoughts and ideas. This course includes scientifically proven ways to enhance your creative thinking skills. If you're interested in learning more about this course, please visit my website, brenteviston.com. There you'll find all kinds of other drawing resources. I know this video isn't what I normally put out, but it's so important to me as a drawing instructor to expose you to the entire breadth of drawing. If you want to see more videos like this, and of course more traditional drawing videos as well, please like, subscribe, and share. That's one of the best ways that you can help support this channel and help me keep making these videos. As always, it has been an honor and a privilege to spend this time with you, and I hope to see you back here for more videos.